quickly bang that out.
Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. We're on a United show today, Devil's Advocate, and today I am joined by weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast regular Jamie McKay. And Jamie, how are you? How are you this evening?
I'm doing all right, mate. Yeah, nice to get back on with you. I know we'll have got quite a lot to talk about with a big game at the weekend, and obviously the game midweek. So yeah, good to be back on, and I'm doing all right, mate. Yeah, been busy. Had a nice day off work today, so I've got a nice long 4-day weekend. So I've had a good rest today. How have you been, mate? You doing good?
Not too bad. I've just been, I suppose, last couple of days I've been dissecting the game against Leipzig, so I've been kind of keeping a low profile the last kind of couple of days.
Yeah, me and you both, mate.
Looking forward to this weekend's game as
Before we get started, what's this top?
This is a Tipperary jersey.
There we go.
Representing my county, because they even though in defeat on the weekend, they did play absolutely fantastic in the football. So shout out
the old United cup with a nice cup of tea in it, so we're ready to go. That's a nice top that is, actually, man. I like it.
Do go on to O'Neill's.ie and you grab one for yourself and support Tipperary. But as we did mention at the top of the show, we will be talking the Leipzig game tonight, that from the other night. We'll also be talking about the upcoming Manchester derby. We'll also be talking the whole Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bryune debate that seems to be going on with the last couple of weeks. So we will be talking that. We will be talking, obviously, tactics and stuff like that in terms of what we think Ollie and Pep might do. And also we will be talking about kind of our memories from Manchester derbies of the past and the present. So a lot to talk about tonight, and obviously whatever pops up in the comments we will discuss as well.
Yeah, definitely get involved if you're in the comments.
Definitely, and if you're watching for the first time, do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Do a lot of Manchester United content over here on the weekly Armchair Kickoff, as well as all other clubs in the Premier League, and we do cover MMA as well. So if you're interested in any of them sports, do pop over to this channel, hit the subscribe button, and get them notifications on, because we've content out on the fly consistently. Jamie, I suppose the first thing that we talk about tonight is the game against RB Leipzig in Champions League Tuesday night. Biggest game we talked about the other night on the channel. Biggest game of our season so far. Unfortunately, we went down to a 3-2 defeat to Leipzig. We spoke the other night and we actually said we thought Ollie would go with a back five. We thought he'd go with a more positive midfield if he was going to back five, but he went to two defensive midfielders. Technically speaking, United went to the back seven almost. We can see 2 early goals, and the game was nearly killed from there. Yeah. Leipzig go get a third, and then Manchester United go back and pull back 2 goals towards the end. Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba both got on the score sheet, and we looked like at the end we were about to claw back, but it wasn't to be. We're now knocked out of the Champions League in the group stage. Yeah. We're now in the Europa League in the Emmerdale Cup. So talk to me, give us your thoughts on the Leipzig game yourself. What negatives did you take out? What, if you took any, do you have any positives from the game? Talk to us about the game and give us your assessment.
Obviously, as a whole, really disappointing night for the United fan base. I probably sat in silence for about 45 minutes on my couch after the game. I was just absolutely gutted, but I don't really have that many positives, to be honest, about it. I think the fight back it looked great, but I think it was shallow. It wasn't really real. I think they were 2 lucky goals. It didn't reflect the game at all. Like 3-2 as a result looks like it was quite a close game, but it wasn't for me. I suppose the lads showed a little bit of fight. We had a little bit of a go in the second half. We sort of huffed and puffed, and we just didn't didn't seem to they just didn't seem to click on the night, and just a really disappointing feeling dropping back into the Europa League. I don't want my club to be a Europa League team. To the teams that are in there, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Europa League. It's just I expect Manchester United to be playing in the Champions League, and I expect us to at least get out of the group. The group itself was a very difficult group when I looked at it from the start before a ball had been kicked. But then we go and do what we did in Paris, which I think is the best performance we've had of the season. We then absolutely blow Leipzig away. And then Istanbul comes and we just absolutely fell apart. And it's just a typical United away day where you expect them to go out there and get the job done. And they didn't do it. And I tweeted straight after that game, this is going to come back to bite us in the arse. And it did. So we obviously struggled against PSG, although I thought we played quite well against them, but we got beat. We had so many chances in that game as well. And it's just the same old story time at the moment. We create loads of chances, but we just can't finish them off. Rashford had a great chance. Greenwood had a great chance when they were only 1-0 up. And it's a free shot on goal. And for Premier League proven strikers, I expect them to at least be working the goalkeeper, and they didn't, unfortunately. But it was just one of them games. I think from the start, we said in midweek, didn't we? It's very important that we get off to a very good start, and we just didn't. And it's becoming very consistent. This starting slow, and But going on to the negatives, I won't say too much, Keane, because I really want to know what you've got to say, mate. But I just seen error after error after error from Ole. Bringing Luke Shaw back into the team, which surprised me because he's obviously not played for about 3 to 4 weeks. And then he takes Alex Telles off, knowing that Luke Shaw's not been fit and not match fit. And he leaves him on, and then he's forced to have to take him off and put Brandon Williams in. So then we've got an inexperienced inexperienced backup right back playing as a left back now in the biggest game of our season, when we had a fit Alex Telles. If Telles had a knock or not, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about that. I took it down to a tactical decision. But why is he keeping Luke Shaw on when he could have kept Telles on and known that Luke Shaw probably wasn't going to finish the 90? And then we ended up with Brandon Williams, who tried his socks off when he come on, but he's just not the quality that you need in such a big game. He tried, he got up the wing, but he just can't cross with his left foot, and he was always having to cut back inside and try and bring another player in. Thought the tactics were wrong. I know I said I thought he would go with that, and I generally did think that was the right thing to do, but I can't in my head, Keane, understand how you can drop into a back five and have two sitting midfielders in Scott and Matic and concede goals like we conceded. I just don't get it. Like, why is Wan-Bissaka in a centre-back position? He's practically right next to Lindelof, and it happens every single week with Aaron. I don't know if he's being told to do that, and vice versa. Telles didn't track his man at the back, and Mukiele had the tap-in. And we're 2-0 down against a very good team, but it's just comical sometimes. In the first 20 minutes, we couldn't pass a ball. Like, we couldn't get out every single time we passed the ball. And you could physically see their triggers. They were targeting certain players in our team. Every time the ball, there was 4 men on him. They were targeted presses from individuals that Nagelsmann worked out in the game against Old Trafford, which we won comfortable, who wasn't comfy on the ball. Yeah,
and you've seen that, Leipzig's press was outstanding. We chatted about that during the game, where Jesus Christ, our press is working really well. But Dylan, I'm actually going to come to Dylan's comment because he's bang on here. He says, "Do you think Ollie's lack of in-game management in the first half cost us from getting back into the game quicker?" I think so. Yeah. This was the same against Arsenal when we played. Now, I know they're two different systems, but in-game management was the key factor there.
Yeah,
you seen 20 minutes in, we were getting bet with the press. You changed the system then. You 5 subs. So like if you're getting bet 2-0 at that stage, and like really we're lucky to be only getting beaten 2-0 at that point in time.
Yeah.
Like, and then
Forsberg should have scored. I mean, he had a point blank shot in the 6-yard box. How he missed, I don't know, because I would have buried that.
Yeah, and like the in-game management really did hurt us there, because Ollie should have made a change in that first half. Never mind the second half.
Yeah.
On the beach should have been brought on in the first half.
Yeah.
Like one man, I hate the man's guts, right? But Jose Mourinho would have made a change here.
Yeah. I don't think he knew what to do. Like I can remember a point in the first half, and I was sitting on the couch and I kept seeing their press, and I thought, this is absolutely fantastic. And I just, for the life of me, the camera zoomed on to Ollie's face, and he just looked like he'd seen a ghost. It was like, when this is going to sound ridiculous, but hopefully the people in the comments will be able to relate. When you're playing FIFA and you get to a good league on seasons on FIFA, and then you play someone who's an elite FIFA player and you just don't know how to play against him. And that's what's Amy saying?
So Amy said start slow and then product let us down time after time, tactically out of his depth. Yeah, I agree, absolutely. Like I think
Amy in the comments as well. It's awesome, girl.
So like I'll even say this straight out. Time after time after time, we're coming back from behind. I said this on the show on Monday, and I said this on Off United on Sunday. You can't keep going behind in games, because eventually it's going to catch up with you. It's like that in life. If you're getting lucky in any situation, eventually karma comes back to bite you in there.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And this is the same. This is the same thing. It was just, again, you're starting with basically a back fucking 7. And you go 2-0 down within.
That's what I mean. But how does that happen, though, Keane? Like, honestly, I've said this a couple of times on different shows and that, mate. Like, I coach under 11s, mate, and I can get into their head what they need to do when we're out of the ball, like how out of possession. Sorry. How does I done it tonight? I worked with my back 4 for the game on Saturday, and these are young children. Like, it's a completely different style of management. It's more like sort of building them up, and sort of. It's just like
you're gonna have to be tactical. You have to set up your team. Like you looked how how narrow. Like if you're that back 5 that was there, and the way they're defending Wan-Bissaka goal, they're defending so narrow. Wan-Bissaka ball watching. Like let's get that straight. He pushed.
Yeah, he does it every week though, mate. It's like when we're out of possession, he comes in as if he's another centre back. But the problem is we had 3 already, so his position was to play wing back, and he was like playing as an inside centre back right there. So we had like 4 centre backs, and then Alex Tellez way out of position, and just like
that for me, it feels like Ollie wanted to keep it so tight that you with your back 5 working to try close it all down. But in the end, it was a great ball in, and Angelino put it away of all players to do it. But for me, like
I just don't know how you get that amount of space with 7 defensive players in the team, and
I know,
and that's the other problem, mate. There was no one to link the forward line to the from the midfield. Yeah, there was no one, and Doug said it the other day. Like Donny is that player that can link the one to the other. He can transfer the ball from the defensive positions.
We're too slow. I think we're too slow attacking.
Yeah, we are. It's the same old stuff, mate. It's pass sideways, and it's too slow. It's far too slow all the time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I don't want to come on here and sort of be that guy that sort of says Ollie out, but I'm just trying to. I mentioned on the show last week my stance on Ollie, mate, and you'll know I've spoke to you off camera as well about it. But I can't see the progression, Keane. Like I don't look at us and think, I can see what he's trying to do with this team. He's trying to integrate this style of play, or he's trying to do this style of play, or he's trying to mold a team around this player and play a game that suits him. Is he playing counter-attack? Is he playing ball possession? Is he trying to sort of play the press? That we don't do any of it. It's I honestly, if someone said to me what style of play the Man United play, I don't know. He tries to sit 2 banks of before when we've not got the ball and try and catch people on the counter attack. But when it doesn't work, there has to be a plan B, and there isn't a plan B. The plan B is, let's just hope for the best, and I'm going to fling all my attacking players on and go gung-ho in it, and it doesn't work. Like, at that level, you need to be tactically, and Nagelsmann, he just had Ollie's pants down. He had Ollie's pants down, Phelan's pants down, Carrick's pants down, clue, because every time we changed our formation, he reacted to it, and that's a sign of a very good manager. When I play for my under-11s, in the first half, Keane, I don't watch my team because I know my players' ability. I know which players are good at what. I watch the other team and see where we can hurt them, which is probably a bit too far-fetched for under-11s, but it seems to work. We've got 19 goals in 4 games. So I'm trying to sort of broaden my coaching horizons, but at a youth level sort of thing. I like to watch the other team and see how they're lining up and seeing if I can counteract it with different changes of personnel. But at the top level, them coaches, when you react, they react. And when we started pushing the game on and trying to sort of get in the final third with a lot more players, he counteracted it by putting on Poulsen, who's a target man that can hold the ball up well, and he put on Cliver and completely counteracted. He says, all right, I see what you're doing here, Ollie. Not a problem at all. You're trying to push me, so you're going to leave more space up the field, so now I'm going to counterattack you. And he counterattacked what Ollie done. He was countering every single tactical move that we tried to make, and he was just one step ahead of the game. As I was saying to the lads in the office, my one worry about the game, and this was before kickoff, when I was at work, I said to the lads in the office, my biggest worry is Ollie thinks Nagelsmann is tactically naive enough to set up the way that he did against us at Old Trafford and come and play the same game. And Ollie, from our point of view, that's exactly what he done. He didn't realise that Nagelsmann is a top class manager, even though he's 33 years old. Anybody that knows his background will know how good he is. He's going to be a phenomenal coach, and I hope he's our coach one day. But he just didn't have a clue, and we lined up. I generally think he picked to think, oh, we'll shut the door. And then when you're 2-0 down, it's like, oh, okay, what do we do now? And it's like, we'll just go gung-ho and we'll fling everybody on. Like, and it just didn't work, and it just stunk of naivety from our management team and our coach, and he just didn't have a clue what to do. You could see them on the touchline, and it's like they're sort of trying to talk to each other as if to say, what do we do? And we're sitting there watching it thinking, you got to do something. You got to react. But Nagelsmann was just an absolutely different level to Solskjaer when it comes to tactical nous. Ollie he ain't got that. If you're the biggest Ollie inner in the world, that's fantastic, and it's great that you have your opinion, but you can't tell me that Ollie's tactically clued up, because he isn't. He doesn't know when plan A doesn't work. He doesn't know what to do. He just puts attacking players on and hopes for the best. And I know. Saeed was sick on social media when he says Ollie gonna freestyle, but that's the way it is sometimes. It is right. I'm gonna put all the most creative players I've got on, and I'm just gonna hope for the best and hope someone comes up with a bit of magic. And do you know what? Like 9 times out of 10 they do, but that's not a long-term strategy. And I think Rio Ferdinand nailed it on the head, mate. Until they have a style of play and they start recruiting a certain player for that style of play, there isn't going to be any progression. And
yeah,
I know I've went on a little bit here, Keane, and I'm really keen to hear what you're going to say, so I'm going to shut up in a minute. But what I will say about it as well is, like, you can get away with that against your West Hams and your teams like that, but when you come up against an elite coach with a very good, young, hungry team of very talented young players, that's what happens. And until we have some sort of strategy or some plan of action and appoint a director of football and maybe get a manager or back Ollie into what he wants to do, we ain't going to get no progression. And it's so noticeable. And I generally can't, I know I said earlier, I can't see the progression. People said to me, in the office, you must be able to see what you're doing, though. You ain't lost a game in a long time. And And I'm thinking, yeah, that's great, but the issue is, if you look at it from the cold hard facts, and I know there's loads of stat men out there that say, oh, we've conceded less goals and da-da-da-da-da. But if you look at it from the cold hard facts of the black and white facts, we're in the Europa League again, which we were in there last season, and we're going to be fighting for top 4. So where's the difference from last season? There isn't any difference, and that isn't even the biggest issue for me. It's I can't see the progression. I don't see the players getting better. I don't see the formation getting better. There's no style of play. The centre-backs are a mess, and he's petrified of playing any decent football player in front of them because he needs the protection. And I'm just a bit like, is this the way it's going to be? Like, and I'm, as I say, I ain't Ollie out, I ain't Ollie in. I know people that are Ollie out. I know people that Ollie are in, and I respect their opinions. I know your take on it, Keane. I know you want Pochettino. And I'm just for me, I'm just like, where's the progression now? It's not. I'm gonna go gung ho and have an opinion because we lost one game. I can take getting knocked out the Champions League. I can take getting beaten by a better team, but I can't take the lack of progression as a football club. That's the thing that worries me the most, because your Tottenhams, your Wolves, your Leicesters, your Chelsea, your Man Cities, your Liverpools, they're going to get better and better. We don't react soon, and we do become a top 4 team, and we become a consistent Europa League team. Let's just say a top 6 team, because I think that's realistically where we're about now, top 4 to top 6. I don't think we're good enough to break into the top 2. I don't think we're good enough this season to break in the top 3. We're going to be lucky if we get in the top 4, if we're realistic. And the problem is, for me, I'm like, so where's the progression then? Are the board happy just to come out the top 4? Or yeah, what's the bigger picture? And that's the thing that's bothering me. Sorry, I know I ranted about that a bit, but it's been on my plate since the game. But I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to drink my tea because I want to hear what you've got to say about it.
Yeah, like, look, for me, again, like, tactically naive. Again, in-game management non-existent. Like, all he needed 4 points in 4 points in 4 games to get through after the 2 wins. He didn't get it. He didn't get it. Naive in Istanbul. Naive. If you look at it now, hindsight is 2020, and it's a beautiful thing, right? Hindsight is really a beautiful thing. It's a great time for reflection. If Ollie was going to play the back 5/back 7, he played it against PSG at Old Trafford, because they're a vastly superior side. Let's be real, right? They're a vastly superior side. Their midfield is better than ours, right? And their forward line is better than ours. Defense, even, I'd say, look, their defense isn't great, right? But you can live with that. United if United were ever going to park the bus in the Leipzig or PSG game, you park it in the PSG game. Get a point out of that game. Because, do you know what I mean? They would have been caught for the counter. Except instead we went gung ho in that game, and we did play well, but we got caught open for all 3 goals. Let's be real. We did.
Yeah.
If you're going to park the bus in them 2 games, you park it against PSG, and then you go to Leipzig then with nothing to worry about. That's my take on it. If you're going to park the bus out of them 2 games, because I think, people might call me mad, but man for man, our team is better than Leipzig's. Man for man.
Yeah, it is.
When we start our strongest team, and we've seen it, we beat them 5-0. Man for man, our team is better than Leipzig's.
Yeah.
So why in God's name, against PSG, you go toe-to-toe with a better team, which is characteristic of Ollie, because during Ollie's era, against any team that is either level or slightly superior, Ollie would park the bus. Which that's what he does. He plays the counter-attack against them team.
Mm-hmm.
So why in a game where you play against a team that's superior, that you go all out, knowing for a fact you're probably going to get cut open, then you go park the bus against a team that's more or less worse than us, and effectively you went 2 negative.
That's the thing, though. Like, you can have. Go on.
I didn't mind starting a back 5, because I said on the show, if you start a back 5, it gives us a platform to defend. Yes, you play progressive midfield players in front of him. Now, we knew Fred was out, right? Fred was always going to be out. I think he was a massive miss.
He was a huge miss. So,
I think
like,
in midfield.
The fact that we didn't have Edinson, the fact that we didn't have Tony, and the fact that we didn't have Fred, they were massive misses. But I hand on heart, and I mean this, and I'm the biggest Man United fan you'll meet. I absolutely love the club, but I don't think we were the one with them in the team either with the tactics that we played. But do you know the bigger problem is, Keane? This all stemmed. The only chance we realistically had against Leipzig this week, because of the way they play, and they were never going to play the same way they played at Old Trafford again, is we needed Bruno to be on it and we needed Marcus to be on it. They were the two players that could have made a massive difference for us. Mason's got the quality, but he's inexperienced and he isn't always going to play well. And Mason and Bruno were the ones, not Mason, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Rashford and Bruno were the ones for me that were going to make the difference. And they're the two players that had to come and rescue us at West Ham and come on the pitch and use energy that they shouldn't have had to use, because Ollie got it wrong against West Ham as well. And it's becoming a massive problem with these teams. He's picking teams and they're not turning up. And it's like that if we went and beat West Ham comfortably 2 or 3-0 because we got the team right, Bruno and Marcus, I'm getting confused with Marcus and Mason here. Marcus might not have had to come on the pitch, and he would have got that rest, been a bit sharper. I thought he was a little bit sluggish against Leipzig in midweek, and Bruno he got absolutely mobbed. Like he was like a piece of honey around wasps. You know, every time he got the ball, they were on him straight away, and just really disappointing from a fan perspective that they worked us out and we just couldn't counteract it at all. But I said it on Twitter as well. This is what happens when you get teams wrong the game before the biggest game of the season, and they have to come on and then try and rescue us, which we were all celebrating against West Ham, but then we're sort of back down in the dumps a couple of days after, because we're now out of the Champions League and we're back to missing Emmerdale on a Thursday night because we've got to watch the football, you know? So it's...
Look, for me, like I'm just looking at this, and you look at the in-game management, it was so poor. And then, look, we go 3-0 down, and then we pull them 2 goals back, and you're thinking, can we nick it one more time? But really and truly, if we be honest, we didn't deserve to win that game or even get a draw. Let's be honest, we didn't, right? So we can't be too kind of hard on ourselves about that, because we didn't deserve to get a point or even 3. But look, I suppose that's enough about Leipzig, because the depressing fact
you talk about it all day, couldn't you? Yeah.
You can dissect it to the cows come home. But at the end of the day, look, we didn't win the game. We didn't draw. We're into the Europa League. We're missing Emmerdale on a Thursday night. And like, this Europa League, I think, could have a massive impact on our season in terms of burnout for our more important players. But look, that's something we'll talk about on another show when you have to talk about it in February.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the Leipzig game anymore. Let's move on.
I don't want to talk about teams who have a Wi-Fi password as their name. So like, look, I'm gonna move on from the Europa League. But again, another debate, since we've literally been debating about Ollie and we've been debating about kind of styles of play. There's one debate that we were meant to have with a Manchester City fan here tonight, but unfortunately he was unable to make it tonight. So there's no debate with a City fan. So obviously the 2 best midfielders in world football at the moment are Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
So at the moment, fans from all across the world, and all Manchester City fans, all United fans, and all fans across world football at the moment are debating this at the moment. Who's the better midfield player? For me, I'm just going to say it straight out now. It's Bruno Fernandes. When you go on stats since he's come in, when you come in on the points since he's come in, before I delve into my stats and before I go into the stats and I raise my case for Bruno Fernandes, I'm just going to come to Amy's comment here, because she's left a comment in here. She said, before I go, Bruno, KDB, not stealing your thunder or anything, Keane. Why does everyone do this in the comments? Everyone is starting to steal my thunder.
When you're coming on with us, Amy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But everyone's doing this now, Jamie. Everyone's starting to steal my Bruno Fernandes propaganda in the comments. I promoted it too much.
You started it. You started it.
I've started this propaganda, and now everyone's jumping on that hype train. But look, I'm delighted. I was on that Jamie Murphy's in the comments, and he can attest this. I was in the Bruno Fernandes fan club 6 months before he came to United. So, I've been always on that train. I know we're going to get to the Bruno and KDB debate in a minute, but Jamie Murphy just come in there with a comment. He says pre-match press said everything about what was going to happen. He was going off the cuff going into the game and did not have a clear game plan. Just the mantra, we will do it the hard way. Yeah, pretty much it. Like he's up all vibes, no tactics.
Nail on the head, Jamie.
Nail on the head, Jamie, and we will not talk about Leipzig anymore because it's actually starting to make me very depressed. But anyway, on to the Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes propaganda. Well, not propaganda.
Right, give me the stat.
So, for Manchester City fans who've been coming at me on social media recently, and for all the rival fans who've been coming at me on social media recently, we're saying that Bruno Fernandes only scores penalties and scores barely any goals from open play. Let's go to class. So, in the time that Bruno Fernandes has been at Manchester United, since February the 1st, 2020, he's played a total of 1,987 minutes in the Premier League.
Oh, he's going for it.
Kevin De Bruyne has played 1,645. So you have roughly 4 games in the difference. Okay? Kevin De Bruyne, from open play, in the time that he's played, since Bruno Fernandes has come into the Premier League, has scored 3 goals from open play in that time that Bruno Fernandes has been in the Premier League. Bruno Fernandes, on the other hand, has scored 7 goals from open play in the Premier League so far. So, we go off that basis. Kevin De Bruyne, I'm going to come to it now, has more penalties scored than open play since Bruno Fernandes has come in. And he's also missed some as well. So, not only does he have less goals from open play, but he's more penalties than open play goals. So, is Kevin De Bruyne not the penalty merchant? I'll carry on there. Bruno Fernandes has scored 7 penalties since his time coming in. He's only missed like 1 or 2. Kevin De Bruyne has missed more. So, again, do you know Bruno Fernandes? Amazing my case. In the time that Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne have both been playing since Bruno Fernandes has come into Manchester United, they both are level on 11 assists, so they're both creative players again. But here's another one. For people saying Bruno Fernandes is all off the cuff, Kevin De Bruyne has attempted 1,104 passes in the Premier League since Bruno Fernandes has come in, which they're very good numbers. That's very progressive. Bruno Fernandes, on the other hand, has attempted 1,360 passes. So, just going off the basis of them stats between Bruno and Kevin De Bruyne, isn't Kevin De Bruyne not the penalty merchant? He has more penalties than open play since Bruno Fernandes has come to the club. And Bruno Fernandes has more goals from open play since Bruno Fernandes has come to the club. So, any Manchester City fans watching, any rival fans watching, who's the penalty merchant? Who is the penalty merchant? I'd really love to know, because these aren't stats I'm making up, by the way. I just want to clarify something here. These aren't stats I'm making up. This is from Sky Sports. The lead broadcaster in the UK.
See why you should get subscribing to this channel. You don't get this usually. You don't get stats like this anywhere else.
You don't get stats like this everywhere else.
Well, you do on Sky Sports, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't subscribe anyway. So subscribe.
Jamie Murphy said both of them are penalty merchants. But to be fair, Jamie, Bruno has the same amount of goals as penalty open play goals as penalties since he's come into the club. But Kevin De Bruyne has more penalties than open play. So I think in my opinion, even though it's not fact, but I often do educate the masses when it comes to Bruno. I think Kevin De Bruyne is the penalty merchant, and I think the stats back it up. Both are class players, by the way. I'm not saying Kevin De Bruyne in any way, shape, or form is a bad player. I was going to give these stats to the Man City fan if he was here tonight. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So I rest my case. Both world-class players, two of the best midfielders in the world, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
I rest my case. He doesn't score only penalties. He's more open play goals than Kevin De Bruyne. The same amount of time he's been here. So, yeah, moving on. Talking about obviously the Manchester derby itself, this fixture itself, Jamie, has brought up a lot of memorable games, both good and bad for both clubs in terms of Manchester City and Manchester United. We're going to talk about our favourite Manchester City games of the past and kind of the present time. I'm going to come to you first, and if you want to highlight maybe one or two Manchester derbies, wherever it is, give me your favourite. Give me a reflection of your favourite Manchester derbies that you've watched down the years.
I'll give you two of my favourite games, two of my non-favourite games. I'll start with the negatives. I remember when they beat us, when Bryune scored. That was our. I still remember the kit that we had. It just had no badge or nothing on it.
It was a 1958 kit, was it, or 60?
Yeah, it was a proper vintage kit, and I thought it looked.
It was in memory of Munich, the jersey.
Yeah, it was the Munich game.
Yeah, 2000, 2008.
I remember. Yeah, I was just about to mention that it was the Munich game, and they beat us on that day, and it was just really disheartening because it had so much of a build-up that we were going to wear these kits for the Munich memorial and remembrance game, and it fell against Manchester City, and it was our time to shine. And I remember thinking, "Oh, this is amazing! Look at this kit! Like, we're going to go get the job done." And then it just didn't work, and Bryune got a fluky goal, and they won the game. But I think as a Man United fan, since Manchester City have sort of come into power, and they've sort of been getting better and better each season with the financial power that they have now. I think when they put us for 6 at Old Trafford, I've got a funny story about that actually. I used to live in Blackpool, and all the lads I used to work with were sort of local supporters of either Blackburn Rovers or Blackpool or Fleetwood. And I was a Man United fan. There was a couple of Man United fans in there, and we used to do a thing called pool clean, and we'd have to sort of clean the pool out at night, so the school could come in the morning when it was the 6 weeks holidays. And I got put on pool duties for that day, the Manchester derby. So I ended up sort of going home early on the Friday through illness, and I took a sick day the day of the game because I didn't want to miss the game, because I knew for a fact I wasn't going to be able to watch it, and I was working on a Saturday with thousands of kids that were coming to the water park every single weekend, and I knew it was going to be a really hectic day. I didn't want to miss the game, so I went home sick on Friday. I wasn't sick.
He's telling you you're not still working for him now, because you're probably sacked after saying that.
No, I'm not working for them now, so I don't care if anybody sees it that used to work with me. They know this story anyway because it's came out. But really good people, to be fair, and they know now. I've told them I don't work there no more. But generally, really, really good people. I had a good time there. But I went home early on the Friday with a stomach ache, and then I had the day off, obviously, because I thought in my head, if I go to, and I still remember the water slide that I was working on, I was thinking, if I tell them I've got a dodgy stomach, then I can stay off tomorrow. And then we got absolutely whacked for 6, so I didn't get paid that day, and I seen my team get absolutely gubbed at home by our rivals. So the amount of stick I got from the lads when I went back, because some of my close mates knew what the crack was. You know, it was just the management at the time that didn't know what was going on. But they give me some stick. But enough of the negatives anyway. My favourite moment when I think of a Manchester City game, and it still makes the hairs on my neck stand up. And I've just got a haircut today, so there's no hairs there at the moment. But it's the Van Persie goal, mate, right at the end.
You stole my thunder there.
Oh, mate, honestly, I can't. Honestly, I can't. It's probably one of my favourite ever goals. Like, and I've got so many memories from watching United since I was a young boy, you know. But that was just, I remember I was going absolutely mental. Like, honestly, it was unreal. And it's still now, it makes the hairs on my arms stand up. Honestly, like absolutely unbelievable. And then
standing up
yeah,
now.
yeah, and then the euphoria of winning that game was absolutely amazing. And then like you're seeing all the fans putting the videos on social media of like people going mad in the ground, and it was just like absolutely amazing. But that was my favorite. Obviously, Michael Owen's winner as well was amazing. I was at the game. That was just absolutely unbelievable. It was like time stopped when Giggs got that ball and just threaded it through. And oh my god, like absolutely amazing. But yeah, they're my two nightmare moments, and they're my two unbelievable euphoric moments.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you two myself. 6-1, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna delve into much into that, but that obviously stung, and the 6-1 stung. One of them ones where, yeah, getting beat 6-1 by your rivals.
Yeah.
One of my friends, wait to tell you this. I have a story about this game. One of my friends, Sean, he's a Leeds United fan.
Yeah.
He got beat 6-1. He used to live a couple of doors up for me. The minute the final whistle blew from that game, do you know what he done? He booted it down from his house, and he knocked into me at the final whistle. And he was shouting, "City, City, City." I slammed the door in his face. I was like, "Fuck off!" Like, you know what I mean? Just close the door. Yeah, like, you know, that was one of my, like, kind of, I suppose, least kind of, that was one of my darker memories of City versus United. The other one was 1-0 when Vincent Kompany scored the header, and that was, for me, at that point I knew we threw the title away, because at that point we were 8 points clear. 4-4 with Everton the week before kind of fucked that up. But so at that point when Vincent Kompany scored that, I knew at that point the title was gone, because at that we couldn't foresee what was going to happen. Yet you had that next week against QPR, but you know, it was at that point you kind of knew we threw the title away, even though that year we didn't deserve it. We weren't great that year, but
yeah, they were the better team that year, weren't they? I know they got lucky in the end with that. Well, it wasn't luck. It was a Fergie time goal, but for City, weren't it? So but it wasn't luck. It was a great finish and it was a great comeback. But I think that as well, like you can't sort of say anything else apart from the Owen goal and the Van Persie goal. But McTominay last season was up there as well, mate.
Stop. I'm going to come to that. I'm going to come.
Sorry, just forget I mentioned anything. Cut this bit out.
It's live, so we can't really cut it out. But
nah, I'm joking.
You everyone's stealing my thunder tonight, for fuck's sake. Oh my god!
Englishman always ruins Irishman's plans.
Oh man! Right. So obviously, just reflect.
I've took his thunder, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, stop. Right. So obviously 6-1 and the 1-0. Vincent Kompany scored the header. They're my two worst memories. Manchester derby. Obviously, the mention on the day were the Munich game as well. That was kind of that was a kind of a dark moment as well. But let's move on to my favorite memories. Watching City versus United. So first one I'm going to mention is one you mentioned earlier, is the 4-3 against them, and Michael Owen scored that goal. Yeah. That game was unbelievable. Like, it was end to end, and it was just when they were branded the noisy neighbours. You know what I mean? They were branded like the noisy neighbours, and Fergie was still kind of downplaying City at that time. Like, you know, we couldn't foresee what kind of happened at that time. But Fergie was kind of downplaying City, like the noisy neighbours. And also, it was the return of that scumbag Carlos Tevez. People forget that because the game was so dramatic. But it was the return of Carlos Tevez to Old Trafford. So to get one over them on that day was absolutely fantastic. And then for Michael Owen to do it in such dramatic fashion was unbelievable. And
about the only thing he done for us.
He scored the hat-trick against Wolfsburg and he scored in the Carling Cup final.
Yeah, I was at the Wolfsburg game actually when he got a hat-trick.
Yes, he was okay, but he's so injury prone. So but he's a better number 7 for United than Alexis Sanchez. But that won't be hard. But anyway, my other favorite game before anyone, if anyone who just tuned in now, will see it. But my other favorite Manchester derby, even though he stole my thunder with the Van Persie one, because that's literally my favorite, but you already said it. So I'm going to give you the other favorite. So I was meant to be at this game. So obviously my other favorite Manchester derby is when we beat them 2-0 last season. It was the last game. Number one, fans were in Old Trafford. Number one. Number two, reason why it's kind of sentimental for me, because Scott McTominay is actually one of my favorite players. Because I maxed up 39 on the back of the jersey. I just love McTominay. Even though, he mightn't have the best quality, but he always puts his heart and soul into Manchester United shirt. And I love that. I love that. So that's one of the other reasons why it's one of my favorite games. To see him score that goal from long distance over Ederson in the last minute of the game, and the atmosphere in Old Trafford when he scored that goal was just beautiful. The funny thing about this game is I was meant to be at this game. I was meant to be going to that game, right? There was 2 turning points as the reason why I didn't go to the game. Number one, when I had the tickets, we just got smashed by him in Old Trafford in the Carabao Cup. That kind of turned me off going.
Yeah.
Number two, I was studying for college exams at the time.
Right.
This is pre-pandemic, before it was online.
Yeah.
I was studying for college, and I was doing psychology and really hard. So I was kind of up the walls because I was under pressure in 1 or 2 modules, kind of studying at the time. So I was like, look, if I go to games, I tend to go on kind of benders, and any of my friends are watching this, you know what I'm talking about. I go on the beer.
We'll do it when we can get back down there, man.
No, we will. Don't worry. I'll show you how it's done. But in that respect, I always go on the drink kind of hard for a couple of days. I'll be in Manchester, and it kind of takes a week kind of out of my life. It takes me a week to kind of recover, because the price of beer in England is a lot cheaper than here, so I'll get that. But so I decided that at that point, then I was like, look, I'm going to give that game a miss. I'll go to a game next season. I couldn't foresee what actually obviously happened with the pandemic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In terms of not having, it's been such a long time since been going to a game. But then when I was at home watching the game, seeing McTominay score that goal in the last minute the way it happened, I'll be honest, I'm not going to lie to you. I cried when he scored that goal, because it was literally the last minute. And it wasn't so much crying with sadness; it was crying with the euphoria of the goal in the last minute.
I was going mad, mate.
Do you know that at that moment, right? And it's mad. I thought I had my Man United back, because we were on such great form, and Bruno was in, and we were doing bits, and we were on such great run of form. And I was thinking, Ollie's turned it around. He was to get sacked last Christmas.
Yeah, I know.
Ollie's turned it around. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like at that point I had my club back.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that anymore. I'm massive. I'm passionate about the club. I'm named after Roy Keane, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But I thought at that present moment I had my Manchester United back. That I had my club back. And again, we've talked on this podcast about false dawns and kind of other kind of situations where we thought we've had our Man United back. But that specific moment at that specific time, I thought at the moment at that time, I thought yes. I thought yes, I have my Manchester United back. And we obviously seen kind of after the lockdown, we got to the Champions League, and that was all well and good. Look, we obviously got knocked out. We won't talk about that much anymore. But in that respect, that was one of the moments for me in that Manchester derby. That for me was like one of my favorite Manchester derby moments because, again, it was just utter euphoria. It was literally euphoria, in that regard. I know we're live the first 50 minutes. We still have a good few topics to get through.
It was my rant at the start, mate. Sorry.
Taking up most of the show. Literally on top right hand corner, I can see that literally this is meant to go live across all of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. For some reason or another, it actually hasn't been live on Facebook only until a minute ago. So if you're watching on Facebook right now, do catch the first 50 minutes on YouTube, because literally the Facebook thing was on a timer for the last 50 minutes of the podcast. It's only come up now. So in that regard, if you missed the start of the podcast, do check it out on YouTube. We did review the Leipzig game, or in terms of our favorite Manchester derbies and stuff like that. So do catch the first part of the podcast. It was literally a circle going around the Facebook thing there for literally for about half an hour. And then I always seen it there now. It's like, geez, the tickets have to coming up. So we're only live on Facebook now in terms of the Manchester derby. But since the people who are tuned in on Facebook right now, you've actually come in at a very opportune time, because now myself and Jamie are both going to pick our combined 11s from Manchester United and Manchester City. So look, in that respect, we're both going to pick a combined 11 each from both clubs, from both City and United. Then once we pick both of our combined 11s, what we're both going to do then at that point then is that we're going to come to a general consensus and an agreement as to what our combined 11 is. I feel like there's going to be a bit of disagreement here, but that's the beauty of football. I love hearing everyone else's opinion. And in the comments, if you have a different combined 11 to either myself or Jamie, do drop them in. I will either, if you're on Facebook, I'll read them out, or if they're on YouTube or Twitter, they'll be up. I'll get them up on the screen. And so, Jamie, I'm going to come to you first. I'm going to give you my starting 11 after, but give me your combined 11 of Manchester United and Manchester City players.
Are we going to base off a specific formation, or?
You can pick your own formation, and then when we pick our own one, we pick our own formation.
Okay then, right. I'll just keep it basic and go with a 4-3-3, will I? My goalkeeper. This might be a little bit random for me because I'm a Man United fan, but I would go for Ederson.
I agree. He's mine as well.
Yeah. The reason why is because if I'm going to pick a team, I'm going to pick a team based on how I would like a team to play. And I like a goalkeeper to be able to play from the back, and he can do it fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I don't particularly think he's a better shot stopper than De Gea, but I definitely think he's a better ball-playing goalkeeper. He can play that sweeper-keeper role. Yeah. And I do think he's a fantastic goalkeeper, but so's De Gea.
All three
on point.
If you look at Henderson, De Gea, and Ederson, they're all three fantastic goalkeepers. Ederson's in mine as well. Don't worry about that. We've come in there from actually a professional footballer. Jack Doherty from Wexford FC has said on the Facebook Live, United will only have one player in that 11, and that's Bruno. We'll see how we get on, but everyone has an opinion. I think that's not a bad shout. But United are actually currently ahead of City in the table, so I think a few people would debate that. But yeah, go ahead, Jamie. What's the rest of your lineup?
I'll do back fours, and then we'll see what your back four is, see how it's lining up against mine. But out of from the right back position, obviously you've got Kyle Walker, you've got Wan-Bissaka. I'd forget both of them, and I would go with João Cancelo. I really like him. I've seen him at Valencia. I just really like him. I don't think he's hit the ground running at City, but he would be my right back if I could pick out of them three. I think Wan-Bissaka is a fantastic centre back. I think Kyle Walker's probably past his best, but he's still got something to offer. But I might be a little bit biased here because I like Portuguese football and I always take good interest in Portuguese players. But I wanted United to sign Cancelo when he was at Valencia because he was fantastic there. And it hasn't really went for him at City. But I would pick Cancelo. As I say, people might be saying, what's this guy on about? But I'm just basing it off what I would pick. And he would be my right back. At left back, I'll go centre backs first. I would have Diaz and I would have Laporte.
I have a feeling we nearly have the same team. Go at your left back.
Yeah, I don't think Maguire and Lindelof are better than them two players. I don't think Diaz is the finished article, Ruben Diaz, but I know how good he is. I've watched him for years at Benfica. He's a quality centre back. When he gets used to the league, he's going to be a great player for them. Left back, they've got Mendy, haven't they? Zinchenko. Yeah, I wouldn't pick Zinchenko. We've got Shaw and Telles. Probably for the same reasons. I like attacking fullbacks. I would go with Alex Telles.
Yeah,
but I do really rate Mendy as well.
Yeah. Yes, look, I'll give you my back four. Obviously, my keeper is Ederson. I said that as well. I think on form, out of all three goalkeepers, he's probably the most in form because he's been playing the most out of all of them. If you based off last season, I'd have Henderson ahead of him. Henderson had more clean sheets than him last season. I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But at the moment, you have to call a spade and say Ederson is in more form than Henderson and De Gea, so you have to be honest and you have to be upfront with that. So Ederson is my keeper. I disagree with the right back. Kyle Walker is my right back.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm sure everyone in the comments will as well. I'm not surprised.
Him and Cancelo, I think Wan-Bissaka, I want to play a very forward game as well. I think Kyle Walker probably gives you more out of the three right backs than what any of the rest of them would. So I'm going to go Kyle Walker, my right back again. Two centre halves, the exact same way with Laporte and Diaz as well. Look, being honest, none of our centre backs get in there. No, they don't. They're shit. I'm not going to beat around the bush. They're shit. That's the reason why Ollie has to play Fred McTominay ahead of him.
I'd probably play Nathan Ake ahead of our centre backs as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably would as well. I'm not going to lie about that.
He's a player I said United should have looked at in the summer. Him and Diego Jota, and now look at both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Left back, I agree. Alex Telles is my left back. I think he whips in a good cross, and we're going to pick. We're just going to say it now. Between both managers, Pep's obviously the manager. So, if anyone's saying that you're going to pick your manager, we both agree it's Pep. There's not even
there's no conversation to be had.
No conversation there. So Pep's going to want to play progressive football. So Pep Guardiola is the manager.
I'll ask you a quick question on that quickly, Keane. I'll keep it quick. Do you think Guardiola is the best manager in the world?
No.
Who do you think is the best manager in the world?
You're not going to make me say it.
All right, we'll move on. Right, who you got in your midfield?
You know who I'm going to say.
I know. That's why I've moved on.
You know who the best manager in the world is?
Right, forget the best manager. Okay, forget
Bruce.
Yeah, don't say that. I'll get slaughtered up here if I.
I'm only
Newcastle for anyone in the comments.
If you want me to be honest, look, the best manager in the world at the moment is Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, who would you say is the best upcoming manager then?
Nagelsmann, without a shadow of a doubt. Upcoming manager is Nagelsmann.
Yeah.
But the best
even Nagelsmann or Marco Rose. Gladbach, who qualified for the Champions League, by the way. Awesome accomplishment for that team.
Yeah, 100%. No, but if you're calling a spade as to who the best manager in world football is, it's Klopp. Look what he's done in Liverpool, and that's.
I wasn't sure if you would have went for Bayern Munich's manager.
No, not
for the way that they played last season. I don't personally think he's a better manager than Klopp, but I think they're a better team. But
manager in world football, not Bayern Munich team, they'd win the league.
Saying to me in the office the other day, yesterday, saying, do you not think that Klopp's a prime example of giving Ollie time and what can happen if you're patient? And my answer to that was,
No, like, look,
Ollie didn't have...
But
Klopp was a good manager before he went to Liverpool.
Yeah, people need to stop this narrative right now.
I know.
Klopp and Ollie narrative. Klopp won titles at Borussia Dortmund before he went to Liverpool. Klopp got to a Champions League final with Dortmund before he went to Liverpool. Klopp done stuff with Mainz before he went to Dortmund. Ollie was at fucking Cardiff and Molde. Stop making that comparison. And I respect Ollie Inner's opinions, right? I don't disrespect anyone's opinion in any way, shape, or form. But the one thing I will always put down, and I have to, is people making the Klopp and Ollie comparison. There's no comparison.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. That's like saying, right? That's like saying, you know, there's a plumber out there who's been a plumber for 20 years, and like he's really great at his job, and he's accomplished, and he's done this, that, and the other. And then there's this little apprentice plumber, and you know, he gives you a quote for a job. Let's say the apprentice plumber, and the plumber is there 20 years, gives you a quote for the plumber. Who are you going to trust more? Obviously, the fellow who's doing it 20 years. So people making these Klopp and Ollie comparisons, just stop while you're ahead, because it's so irrelevant. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
People think I'm backing up Liverpool. I'm not backing up Liverpool here. I'm
No.
stating utter fact. But anyway, that's another conversation from another podcast. We're on the United show today. So again, midfield. So I'm gonna leave you. You're going with 3 in your midfield, are you? And for your combined 11. So
yeah, I'll go with the same formation you're going with. What are you going with?
I'm going 4-3-3.
All right, okay then, same. It's a hard one, isn't it? Because you've got two.
Right, I'm just gonna throw this out there
you go first with this one.
We're gonna come with a general consensus with this combined 11. So for me, I'm just gonna throw this out there now. Bruno and Kevin De Bruyne are in there automatically.
Yeah.
Right. So Bruno and Kevin De Bruyne are both in there. Like, look, I know we're going to come to a general consensus in terms of the whole team when we pick one combined 11, but Bruno and Kevin De Bruyne are both in there. I think that's just a given.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's in my 3 in midfield, right? This is where I have a problem.
I know what you're going to say, but I'm not going to say it. I think I know what you're going to say.
I want to pick one player, right? But he's a dickhead. I want to pick one player based off he's so talented on his day, you have to have him in there. But at the same time, I don't want, like, I've an opinion, I want him out of the club. You know who I'm picking here.
Doesn't start for me, like.
For me,
I know who you're gonna pick. To be fair, it wasn't who I thought you were gonna pick, but I know who you're on about.
Van de Beek, did you? You thought I was gonna pick Van de Beek.
I thought you were gonna pick Van de Beek, and then I was gonna counteract straight away and say it's too attacking. But I suppose it's a generic team, so it doesn't matter.
There's no tactics. We're not playing against anyone here. But for me, if you're picking a combined 11,
just say it, Keane.
Paul Pogba.
And I clicked on after. I generally thought you were going with Donny, but to counteract that, I would pick Rodri because I think he's a great player.
He's a great defensive midfielder. Look, he gets in there, right? Look, let's be honest. My combined 11 is going to put Paul Pogba in there just on the basis he's a world-class footballer.
Yeah.
Only based on that reason that he's a world-class footballer. That's literally it.
He is a world-class.
He's a dickhead and he needs to go. But look, we had that. If you missed our Paul Pogba debate, do check out Monday night show.
Yeah.
We went in on him. But that's my midfield 3. So my midfield 3 consists a very attacking midfield 3, mind you. De Bruyne, Pogba, Fernandes. Who's the holding midfielder of my 3? I'm going to leave you pick that.
The holding midfielder is when you substitute one of them off and put Rodri in.
When we're about 4-0 up.
I don't think you can.
I think Pogba is probably best suited to sit in between the two centre halves because he is.
I think Pogba would be a great defensive midfielder if he was disciplined enough to play that role, but he's too talented to play that role. I do understand that
Yeah,
before
but
I get absolute pelters on Facebook saying he's not a defensive midfielder.
I think realistically, your midfield is the one we're going to go with, but we're going to come to a general consensus with our full combined 11 because I'm interested to see what your front three is. Give me your front three.
None of our defensive midfielders get in the team anyway. If anybody's going to play in that midfield, it's going to be
Jack
Fred.
Can't defend for nuts. Yeah, look, Jack, I'll be honest, my midfield, I'm not going to defend. I'm going to beat you 5-4. Like my team is coming just to smash the other team off the park. That's why I have my midfield three the way it is. Jamie's a bit more conservative. He's gone with the whole of mid, which I think when we come to our general consensus for both of our teams, Rodri gets in there anyway. But my team is just going for you score 4, we score 5. Do you know what I mean? That's the approach I'm going with. You know, I'm coming to entertain the fans. You know,
if you go with a realistic team, as in like
you're right, Jack.
Yeah, even Fernandinho gets in ahead of our defensive midfielders for me.
Oh, he does, yeah.
He's another quality player. I know he's getting on a bit. But
the only player I'd even slightly make a case for is Fred because he's actually been outstanding all season.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, I just didn't want to cut you off.
If you have to be realistic about it, Rodri or Fernandinho get in ahead of him, but Fernandinho, he's not really in the conversation.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's your midfield. I give my midfield. Now, give me your front three.
Well, we don't have a right winger, so that one picks itself. And to be honest, even if we did have a right winger, let's just say we did get Sancho, I wouldn't be picking him ahead of Bernardo Silva. Because I think Bernardo Silva is absolutely fantastic. He would play on that right wing position for me.
Yeah. My right winger is Riyad Mahrez. He's been outstanding.
I'll give you that.
He's been outstanding for me. I'll give you my other two players. Raheem Sterling on the left, Marcus Rashford as the striker. The reason why Rashford's going in here is because Sergio Aguero's been out all season. He only came back the other night.
Okay. That's fair enough. But if you're going to base it on because he hasn't played, I put Cavani in the middle then if we're not going to go with Aguero. But if we're doing a generic team,
we're both doing our own one first. Then we're going to come to an agreement as to what our full combined 11 is. But
right, okay.
So give me your front three. So you had Bernardo Silva. Who's your other two?
Mine would be Sterling on the left and Aguero up front.
Aguero up front. Okay. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown of Jamie's team. Then I'm going to do a quick rundown of my team. So Jamie's gone for Ederson in goal. He's gone with Juan Cancelo at right back. Joao Cancelo, at right back. He's gone with Ruben Diaz and Laporte in the two centre halves. Alex Telles left back. Then he's gone with a midfield three of Rodri, De Bruyne, and Fernandes. And then he's gone with a front three of Bernardo Silva, Sergio Aguero, and Raheem Sterling. Then my team is Ederson in goal, Kyle Walker right back. Same with Diaz, Laporte, and Alex Telles left back. I went with a very attacking midfield three of Pogba, De Bruyne, and Fernandes. And up front, I've gone with Mahrez, Rashford, and Raheem Sterling. So that's my front three. And Jack Doherty has said in his front three, he would have Sergio Aguero, Sterling, and Mahrez. Rashford just misses out. Yeah, I can see the thinking behind that, but for me, Rashford's been.
I think as well, like I know we've based it off of 4-3-3, but if you was to said to me at the start there, right, we're playing a diamond, Pogba would have been in one of my four. You know, so it's formations make teams, and you've got so many different options. If you're playing three at the back, you'd play different players. If you're playing 3-5-2, you'd pick different players. But off of a 4-3-3, that would be my team.
Right, so we need to come to an agreement as to what our team is. We're going to come with a complete combined 11 because since Andy from Man City TV couldn't be here tonight, we're going to pick our own combined 11 now just together. So we agree on Ederson.
Yeah.
So are you adamant with Cancelo for right back?
I'm not adamant. I just really rate him. I think he hasn't
I'll give you
shown.
Cancelo. I'll give you Cancelo.
Okay, because you want me to
I'll
give you
give-
Pogba.
Yes, I'm going to give you Cancelo.
Okay. Does anyone in the comments understand where I'm coming with Cancelo? Am I getting a bit of stick because I don't?
There, because like I'm giving Jamie Cancelo. I picked Kyle Walker in my one. So if anyone in the comments who thinks should it be Cancelo or should it be Kyle Walker, please let us know. I will let the viewers know. Then obviously at that point, we obviously agreed the same back four, so we don't have to debate the back four. Bruno and Kevin De Bruyne, we both picked them. So, the midfield three. De Bruyne and Fernandes are in there. You want Rodri, I want Pogba.
Well, you give me Cancelo, so I'll give you Pogba.
Yes. We're going battering this team. Whoever we're playing anyway, this team is getting absolutely smoked.
We've already had the conversation, and I'm sure people listening will have heard us about the Rodri debate. We're not saying he wouldn't play. We're just going with a fantasy midfield here.
Yeah, and Jack Doherty has said he'd pick Cancelo. So yeah, I give you Cancelo. Just gives me a reason.
Good man, Jack. You're on my wavelength, mate.
I know Shane Dowley, if he's watching now or if he's watching later on, Shane is going to be delighted with the Pogba inclusion. Now, the front three. Here's the thing. We need to, there's no giving each other. We've already given each other a player now. So now at this point, we have to agree on the front three. We both picked Raheem Sterling, so Raheem Sterling's in the combined 11.
Definitely.
Yeah. You've picked Bernardo Silva on the right. I picked Riyad Mahrez on the right, and you picked a different striker, and I picked a different striker.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to agree now on both right wing and striker. Since you said like we're not really basing off form, we're basing it kind of what their best players are. I'd agree with you with Sergio Aguero as a striker.
Okay.
I agree with you on Sergio Aguero. I think on the day if I had to pick it, he gets in their hands down. I disagree with your right wing position though. I know you said Bernardo Silva's class. I agree.
Right. I'll tell you what we'll do then, right? Because
I can't look past Riyad Mahrez. I can't. He's been ice cold this season.
But yeah, he has this season. But I'm going to do something a little bit random here, right? But right, Jack, you just commented a minute ago, so I know you're watching this video. Comment now who starts, and they will start because this is a difficult one. Keane wants Mahrez. I want Bernardo Silva, so the power is in your hands. Who's playing?
Jack Doherty has just thrown a curveball in here.
Oh, come on, Jack. Play the game.
You picked Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Jack has said that he'd put Bernardo Silva into the tree. We've already agreed on the tree. Because he actually does play in midfield as well as right wing. I win. Just to prove it there. Jack Doherty says Mahrez is playing in.
Right, there you go then. Jack, you've spoken, mate.
So Riyad Mahrez gets in. So to give everyone a confirmation of what me and Jamie's combined 11 is, as we agreed. Ederson in goal, Cancelo right back, two centre halves, Ruben Diaz and Emerick Laporte, left back, Alex Telles, midfield three of Paul Pogba, Kevin De Bruyne, and Bruno Fernandes. Jesus Christ. And then the front three of Riyad Mahrez, Sergio Aguero, and Raheem Sterling. So
that's a midfield you'd play on FIFA, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, when you're either a goal or two down, you just said, "Fuck it, let's throw the kitchen sink."
Yeah, gung ho.
Gung ho, absolutely. So obviously we picked our combined 11. Now we have to get into the nitty gritty here, and we need to both predict our own starting 11s. For the weekend. So,
goodness,
predicting a Manchester United starting 11 these days is like trying to predict the winning lotto numbers. You just don't know, do you? Like, it could be absolutely anything. It's wherever you don't expect. You don't know what team is going to be picked from the next. I think Ollie does that. I think Ollie must go in there and pick names out of a hat. Do you know what I mean? He has a hat for each section of the team: goalkeeper, defenders, midfield, forwards. I think that's the way he's fucking doing the lotto almost. Do you know what I mean?
I think I might not be too far off with this, to be honest with you.
So go on, hit me with your formation and your starting 11.
I think he'll play a 4-2-3-1. I think he'll pick De Gea. Left back. Do you know what? I don't even know. I'm going to go with Telles because I think he's fitter than Luke Shaw, and purely for that, because I think... I don't know, actually. He might pick Shaw, you know. Right, let's go with Shaw.
Yeah, Luke Shaw, okay.
Yeah, I think he might go with Shaw purely for the fact of he's probably a bit better defensively. He'll go with Basaka on the right, who needs to really sort himself out. He's making too many mistakes for my liking, but I'm not going to go into that. Centre-back pairing, he's going to go with Beckenbauer.
Oh, hey, do you know what though? Saeed, after abandoning the Harry Beckenbauer tag, I was on a show with Saeed tonight on Owen's show, the Crafty Couple. And so if anyone watches Owen's channel, he's trying to get to 100 plus subscribers for Christmas. Do check out Cockney Red 99 YouTube. Do help him out because he's trying to hit that milestone before Christmas. So it'd be great if we can get him there.
Yeah.
In that respect, do check out his channel. I've been over there, so has Jamie. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. And yeah, so Harry Beckenbauer has actually been abandoned. Saeed's after abandoning that tag.
Shout out to Saeed, man, the most passionate man on the internet. Him, man, he's just absolute all heart. He's a good listen. Have to get him on the show one day when I'm on, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I think he'll definitely go with Maguire, and he'll definitely go with Lindelof because I think it's the only two centre backs he trusts. It wouldn't be my pick for the pairing, but that's for another conversation for another day. I think he'll go with a midfield defensive two of. I think he'll play McTominay. I think he'll probably go Scott and Fred. Right wing.
I know who you're picking.
Yeah, you know what's coming, don't you? You know what's coming. Yeah, he's going to pick Fernandes, obviously.
I have a feeling who you're picking. I have a feeling. I know the way.
You know.
I know who you're picking is the right winger.
Yeah.
I know who you're thinking straight away.
Yeah. He's
I'll see if I'm right.
Juan Mata.
Is it Dan James?
No.
Juan Mata. Okay.
Juan Mata. I think he'll go with Juan Mata. I think he'll and quote me if I'm right, if I'm wrong, sorry, but Cavani and Tony are still out, aren't they?
I think I've heard today Cavani might be fit for the weekend.
Right, okay. If he's fit, he's going to be on the bench anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. I think Mata will start on the right. I think Dan James is going to start on the left. Yeah, I honestly, and I tell you now, everybody that's watching can quote me on this. I don't think I'm going to be too wrong with this team. And I think he's going to start Rashford up front.
It's like basically the same team that played against Newcastle.
Yeah, I honestly, I swear, I'm not even like on the wind-up, Keane. I know I have a laugh with you about Dan James, but he hasn't played at all recently. And you know for a fact all he's going to try and play the counter.
United stand now is just loving your team right now. Do you know what I mean? He's just
Yeah, do you know what? Like, I enjoy listening to Ricky actually because he's quite diplomatic. I know people don't agree with him, but he's very diplomatic about the team shape on and off the ball. So I know he gets loads and loads of stick. But I listen to all of his post-match interviews purely for the fact of just trying to pick his brains because he's obviously been watching United a lot longer than I have. And he's coached himself, which I didn't realise until last week. So I do quite like listening to him. I think he's quite. I think it's because he's a lot more experienced than me. He's a lot older than me, so he's been watching United when I wasn't even thought about in my parents' life. So he would definitely go with that team. But I'm not basing it on because he picks it. By the way, I watched the odd video from the United Stand. I think they're a great channel. They've obviously got great numbers and great people on there. But I just watch Ricky's. So I don't tend to watch like everything unless I come across it. So it's obviously I'm a contributor for All for United, so I watch all of their post-match stuff and stuff like that. So shout out to everybody you are as well, Keane. But I don't think I'm going to be wrong here, Keane. I'm interested to see what you think. I genuinely think it's going to be the teammate because we're going to try and sit back and counter them. We do it all the time against City, and it seems to work. So we've done well against them in the last 4 games. So he's tried and trusted, and Ollie obviously thinks it's going to work. It's the same as the Nagelsmann chat. I just hope that Pep doesn't change his game, because if he does, we're in trouble again. So little boost that it's at home. Shame that there's no fans there because of the Tier 3 in Manchester. But I think that's going to be the teammate. What about you?
For me, the thing about this is...
Disheartened you, and I?
You did. The thing is, I'm going to dishearten myself even more. For me, I don't think he goes to the 4-2-3-1. And the reality of this is, I think he's going to stick with the back 5. I think
he can't against City.
No, but the thing about this is they're vastly superior in midfield, and I think this is where the problem is. I think Ollie goes with that. He went with that 3 times against them last season and got 3 wins. I don't see that changing. For me, this is the team I'm going to... No, I need to make this perfectly clear. This isn't the team I want to see playing. I need to make
neither's mine.
I need to make this perfectly clear. This is not the formation or the team I want to see, but it's what I feel Ollie's going to do.
Yeah.
I feel Ollie's going to go Henderson in goal, which I really do agree with. I think he should be starting the weekend.
Can't see him dropping Dave. I just can't.
Henderson's been playing well in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's a fantastic... I would probably play him ahead of him, Keane, to be honest with you, but I can't see it. He's too loyal to players, so it's...
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later on, but right wing back is going to be Wan-Bissaka. As much as I hate to say it, but right wing back is going to be Wan-Bissaka. Right centre back then is going to be Victor Lindelof. Middle of that's going to be Harry Maguire, and Luke Shaw is going to be left centre back. Alex Telles is going to be left wing back. He's going to go 2 holding midfielders in McTominay and Fred. He's going to go Bruno Fernandes in the hole, and then he's going to go with Rashford and a fully fit. If Cavani's playing, he'll go with Cavani up top. If he's going to go with that formation, I don't necessarily disagree with it. But you have to play Donny instead of either Fred or McTominay. I personally probably play Donny instead of McTominay there. But at the end of the day, we know that's not going to happen. We know for a fact he's going to play Fred, McTominay, plus a back 5 behind him.
Yeah.
Well, not that we know. It's I think he's going to do it. I hope I'm wrong.
If he does play that back 5, which you're right in what you're saying, he did play it against City in the past, and it did work for us. So he might go with it, but I don't know. I think he's going to go with the 4-2-3-1. But if he does go with that back 5, they can't defend so narrow against Man City, because we'll have the same issue as we had against Leipzig, and Man City have a lot more quality than Leipzig. Let's be real.
About that as well. I'm telling you now, this is what's going to happen. If they play Walker and they play Mendy down there, City play narrow coming in with Maris and Sterling, but City's fullbacks are absolutely fantastic going forward. So if they're going to play that back 5, Wan-Bissaka needs to be on smoke. Telles needs to be on smoke. Shaw needs to play well. They all need to play well.
Yeah.
I just hope, I really hope.
I don't think Telles is going to be beneficial for us as a defender, mate. I've seen too much of him at Porto to tell me that he's not a defender. He's not the best. Yeah, he is a wing back. He's not the best defender when someone's running at him. That's going to be a problem. Hence why I went with Shaw, because I think he'll go with his tried and trusted in this game. He'll go with somebody he knows can be a 8, 9 out of 10 against City. And it's just if Luke Shaw's fit. It's I know if people are listening to the show from the start, then big thank you, because we're an hour and 23 minutes in. So if you're still with us, thank you very much. But I said right at the start, mate, that Luke Shaw didn't look fit to me midweek. So I don't know.
Yeah, we just know he's part of all he's tried and trusted. So that's probably what's going to happen. But again, there's our both starting 11s. And look, personally, I hope we're both wrong. I really and truly hope we're both wrong. I hope we're pure off the boil, and we're completely wrong, and Ollie actually tries to take the game to Man City in that respect. But moving on, and we're an hour and 24 minutes into the show. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone if you've been here from the start. If you're only tuning in now, thanks for tuning in. Do smash a like in the video. Do subscribe to the channel. We are literally one subscriber off our Christmas target. Our Christmas target is 150. We're on 149. Easy.
You know what to do. You know what to do if you're not subscribing.
If you're not subscribing, smash that subscribe button right now, because we're literally one off. We've 14 days from today, Christmas Eve, to hit that milestone. So please, please, please hit that subscribe button. I'd like to get there before Christmas, ideally. And then obviously the new year, look, we've a lot of new content planned. So do hit that subscribe button and do subscribe if you're new, because it does go a long way in terms of helping us grow and helping us produce more content on a weekly basis. So final part of the show tonight. We've been going nearly an hour and a half, and been a great show. Another great chat, Jamie, as always.
Brilliant.
Score predictions. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a habit when his job is on the line, he's on the verge of getting sacked. I'm going to quote the Armchair Kickoff podcast regular and Spurs fan Steve McGrath. He said this in the group chat, and he's quoted this on Twitter. Check him out if you haven't seen it. There's no better performing team than an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer team when his job is he's on the verge of getting the sack. Like, people are quoting Ollie's under pressure now, and people are saying if he loses this game, he's going to get sacked. So, just throwing that curveball in there. What's your score prediction for Saturday evening?
I don't think he's going to get sacked if he doesn't win, though, Keane. I don't. I honestly don't. That's me being as honest as I can. I don't think they'll sack him if we get beat on Saturday. Anyway, let's just go with the.
So I'll throw this at you. What if we get beaten comfortably? We're at home, remember. If this is another Spurs situation, does he keep his job? I don't think.
What if they beat us 3-4-0?
Yeah, or even 6-1 or something like that. If let's say it gets to that stage, if we lose comfortably, I think he's gone. I think he's finished.
I can see where you're coming from, but I don't see it. I honestly don't see it. If they replace him, it's going to be at the end of the season. I honestly can't see it. That's just me being honest. But anyway, we'll move on. My heart is telling me that we're going to win, but my head is telling me that I would never ever go against United. But I think if we come away with a draw, that'll be a good result for us. I do think we can win, but we've got to be on it for 90 minutes. And I've seen enough over the last 2 months to tell me that that's not going to happen. So unless he gets his team absolutely spot on, unless the whole 11 have 10 out of 10s from minute 1 to minute 94, we can get a win. And I hope to God we get a win. But if I'm being honest, if you offered me a draw now, I would take it. If you said there's no game, but you can have the draw, do you risk playing the 90 minutes for the win, or do you take the draw? I would risk to get the win, but in my head, I would be like, we'll take the point. I would rather not lose to them. But I hope, obviously, I'm a Man United fan. Anybody that sees my face on this channel will know I'm a Man United fan. I do a devil's advocate. It's because I'm a Man U fan. Of course, I want us to win in here, but I think it's going to be a tough task purely for how bad we were in midweek. I think psychologically, it's going to play on the players. But hopefully, your boy's right, and Ollie is fighting for his job, and we get a result, and we get a good win, and I will be delighted, as will you, that we've won the game against them, because there's no better feeling than beating them and Liverpool. Let's be real. But I think it's going to be a difficult game, and that's what. Like, I'll be honest, Keane, I don't go into games against Man City expecting to win, and that's just me being realistic. their team is far superior to ours. They have a much better manager than us. Individually, they've got much better players than us. We've got individuals that we've chatted about earlier that you presented your case on, that we've got great players as well, like the kid that signed from Sporting, like Cristiano. But anyway, that's earlier on in the show. But enough of me anyway. What about you? What's your score predictions? What's your heart saying and what's your head saying?
The head and the heart are actually saying same thing.
Okay.
I'm going to go 2-1 United.
I hope you're right, mate.
I think, look, when the chips are down and when Ollie's really under pressure, he always manages to pull a result out of his arse.
It wouldn't surprise me, and I bloody hope that we do win, mate. Honestly.
When Ollie's under the biggest amount of pressure, he pulls a result out of his arse. Now, I'm not saying that in a way that I'm sickened about saying it, because I'm not. Like, regardless how I feel about the manager and where I want us to be, and who I want in the job, that's different to my allegiance to the club. I'll always love my club and I'll always back my club. I'll always support us regardless of who's in charge. I support us when we had David Moyes in charge. I support us when we had Van Gaal in charge. I support us when we had Jose Mourinho in charge.
Yeah.
Even though he was anti-football at times when he was at Man United. Yeah. But I still support the cause and I still support the club. Same with Ollie. I'll always support Man United till the day I die. I'll always wear the crest on my shirt. Well, obviously now I'm wearing a tip jersey right now. But you know what I mean? Like, I'll always support Man United till the day I die. I've named after Roy Keane, for fuck's sake. Like, the club is in my blood. Like, do you know what I mean? But I'm going to go 2-1 United. I think we'll beaten, like, people tend to forget, we beat City 3 out last week and we played against them. And I think if there's any time for us to get a result, it's now. I think we need to be on it, though. We need to be on it. This one thing I'm going to say, and I've said this, I was on other channels this week, and I've said this on every single channel I've been on this week talking about this game. If you can't get up for a Manchester derby, you don't deserve to be at the club.
You're at the wrong club.
Yeah. It's simple as that. No matter what club you're in, if you're at Liverpool, you're at United, you're at Chelsea, you're at Arsenal, Joe, you're at West Ham, whatever club it may be, you all have your local derby. If you can't get up for your local derby, you don't deserve to be at the club. I'm sorry, but you don't. If you can't get yourself physically up for that game, you do not deserve to wear that crest. And that's just the fact. Yeah. All he knows what this game means, more than anybody else who's at the club right now in terms of the coaching staff and the players. He knows better than anybody what this game means to the fans and what this game means to the club. Marcus knows what this means. Mason knows what this means. Do you know what I mean? Bruno's only been here for about a year, but Bruno knows this game means. He's our leader. In my eyes, he's our captain, even though he doesn't wear the armband officially, but he's the captain. You can see when he's on the pitch, he's the leader on the pitch. If you don't get yourself up for Manchester derby, I'm going to say it again, you do not deserve to be at the club and you're not fit to wear the shirt. It's as simple as that. Clear as day. It's as simple as that. But I really hope they can go out and get the win. Yeah. Regardless of how I feel about Ollie, like I love, as I said to you, and I said this on Twitter, you can go on my Twitter page at Keane_Franey. I've said this on Twitter the other day. I love Ollie as the manager. I love Ollie as the player, as a legend of the club.
Yeah.
I've always loved he done. His status as club legend is never going to change with me.
Yeah.
It's never going to change. However, I don't think he's the man to take us forward long term. I don't think we're going to progress any further as a club with him as manager. Now, I think he's done some good things to the club, and I also think he's done some bad things. But I'll be consistent. I don't think we're going to win trophies under Ollie. I'm going to be real. I don't think we're going to win trophies under Ollie. Now, if he wins the Carabao Cup, or if he wins the FA Cup or Europa League this season, I'm happy to be proved wrong because we won a trophy. But that's my opinion with regards to it. And I respect everybody.
Yeah. What I will say as well, with regards to the score prediction, anybody that's in our group chat will know, Avid United, anybody that's seen me on here or all for United, they'll know I'm a big Man United fan. Don't get it twisted because I've said I'll take a draw. Want us to win. Like 110% as soon. My Twitter will be full of United stuff saying that we're going to win the game, but I think the sensible result would be I would be happy with a draw because purely for the fact of they're a better team than us. Like let's just forget the league position for a minute. They're a better team than us, and that hurts me to say that, but it's the truth. But don't get it twisted and think I don't want us to win. I'll be jumping around my living room like an absolute clown if we win that game.
Yeah, they're a better footballing team at the moment, but they'll never be a bigger club.
No way.
I don't care. Manchester City will never, ever, 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 ever be a bigger club than Manchester United. In my eyes, Manchester City are still a small club. I'm not going to be honest, they're still a small club. They've won a handful of league titles. They haven't succeeded in Europe. They've won a few trophies, but they're not a big club. They can barely fill their stadium. How can they be considered a big club?
And they've spent. I know we've spent a lot of money, but they've spent a lot of money as well. Yeah, you think the amount of players they've bought in since they got the takeover? Your Robinhos, your Tevez's, your Dzekos, they've spent an absolute fortune.
In the times well, I'm just going to throw this last stat out before we go, because we're actually an hour and 35 minutes into the show, and I think I need to wrap up now at this stage. But just going to throw this out there, since you actually mentioned City and you've talked about spend. In the time Sheikh Mansour has been at the club, he's put $1 billion into Manchester City. Do you know how much the Glazers have taken out in that time?
Probably about 700, 800 million.
$1 billion. They take that same City.
Says everything, and there's no longevity in it. If it keeps happening, United are going to fall down and down and down and down, and that's the reality. And I missed out a point earlier, Keane. I'm not going to sort of ramble on and keep it in a couple of sentences, but if we don't start progression earlier, if anyone ain't got a clue what I'm on about, go back and watch the whole show, because it's been an absolute belter, by the way. Big up to Keane for getting me on here and doing another one of these shows, because Monday night was a brilliant show as well with Doug on, and tonight's the same. But the progression is, if we don't start progressing as a club under whatever manager, the propaganda FCs, he's going to leave, mate, because he's not going to be wanting to play Europa League. Your Tonys, Pogba wants out anyway. Your Brunos, they're all going to want away, mate, and they're not going to be sticking around.
I said this the other day. I don't know if you see.
Yeah, they're not gonna, mate.
I worry if we don't win something in the next year or two. I'm not even saying 3 years. I'm saying within the next year or two. Bruno Fernandes is gone.
Yeah, if the Bayern Munich's if he keeps up his numbers, what he's doing now, but we consistently keep fighting for a Champions League place and play league football. If the Bayerns, the Barças, the Reals come in, he's gonna go, mate. I'm telling you, and United struggle in the transfer market anyway because of the strategy from the club. And if they can't start attracting world-class players, like when people say we failed Pogba because we haven't bought the right players to play with him, I kind of do understand that argument. I'm not going to open the Pogba door because we don't have time, but I do see that happening, mate. I do see Bruno and that leaving in the next few years if we don't really buck up our act. And what do we want? Like, where are we? What are we trying to achieve? Do we want to be champions, or are we quite happy with a top four? The recruitment tells me we're quite happy with how things are going. We've accepted now, like Arsenal have, that we're not going to win the league anymore.
Well, Arsenal are trying to stay up in the league, but we can't even bring them into... yeah, but I know...
William will be...
Yeah, but William knows it's true. They're 15th in the league. Like, Tony Payella is at the helm. Like, but anyway, I think at this juncture we're going to wrap it up for tonight. It's been a great show. An hour and 38 minutes in. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're only meant to go on for about 45 minutes tonight, but it looks like we've gone nearly an hour over that.
Yeah, it always happens.
It always happens. But look, this is the beauty of it. You know what I mean? This really is the beauty of it. But we are back. We are back next week. Next week we will have our weekly armchair kickoff Christmas party. Next week. So my plan is, because I have my work Christmas party Friday. Social distancing, of course. Let's throw that out there, because I know people will be smashing me in the comments and probably on Snapchat for promoting it. But I'm doing my work Christmas party over Zoom next Friday. So that's going to be grand. That's going to be okay. A few drinks and that. So because the work Christmas party is via Zoom, that'll be great. I'm going to do the weekly armchair Christmas party right here live next Saturday. We're going to be obviously having a few drinks, talking about the year 2020 for football as a whole. We'll be doing a football quiz. And look, we'll be just chatting shit, really. You know what I mean? Having a few drinks. If you're a subscriber to the channel, or if you just want to see us talk absolute bollocks and let us have the fear, watch the show. But we'll be doing that next week, and also next week, myself and Jamie are going to do the Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier preview as well. That'll be on the show as well. That'll be fine. Jamie, do you want to give your socials a shout out or anything like that?
Yeah, if anybody's watching that don't follow me on media platforms, that's the link of my name on the show is on the handle. There's my Twitter page, so I'm building up a nice little following over there and getting loads of interaction from football fans. So just give me a follow. And I had a little bit of a chat with Keane off camera before we shot this this show, and I just want to pick up on something. It's something that's personally affected my own personal life, and it's really out there at the moment. There's a lot of sort of great campaigns pushing this, but I just want to take a couple of minutes for people that are watching and people that will watch in the future this video. I don't usually do this because this is just all about football for me. I come on different platforms and just talk football. But I'm a human being as well off of camera. I'm just a normal lad that does his day-to-day like everybody else. I struggles. I have my good times. I have my bad times. I have my mood swings. And I just want to just sort of mention to anybody watching here that obviously there's a lot of campaigns about mental health at the moment. And obviously with the situation in lockdown, it's been really difficult for people, and people that live on their own or people that do struggle with mental health problems. That's probably been heightened and increased because of the whole social distancing stuff, and they're not being able to see their normal group of friends, and they're not having interaction with humans in the office, and they're sitting 8 hours a day at work in their own spare room, and they don't have that contact. And there's probably people here that watch this and watch platforms like Keane's platform that help them with that. And I just want to say as well, I know we've been running a long time here, so I want to keep this as brief as I can. It's been quite a long show, but I have 700 odd followers on Twitter. If anybody in the comments follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on Instagram, my name's exactly the same handle. My Facebook is Jamie Mackay. Give me a follow if you want. And I know I can talk on behalf of Keane as well, because we had the conversation off camera, hence why I'm talking about this. I did ask for permission. Is just get in touch. I don't care if I don't know you. I don't care how much you're struggling, how hard you're trying, you're finding it difficult to, I say I don't care how much you're struggling. Of course I do, hence why I'm on about this. That was the wrong wording, so I apologize if you are listening to this. But get in touch. If you want to talk to me, if you want to tell me your problems, if you want a little bit of advice, and I'm not just coming on here and being the, contact me, I'm Mr. Mental Health, because I'm not. But one thing I can tell you is depression for 4 years. So I do know how it feels. I know how it feels. I didn't want to get dressed some days. I was that bad. It got to the point in my personal life, without going into too much details, that my head was that full of different directions of my brain that I physically couldn't understand. I couldn't hear my own girlfriend speak to me who was standing next to me. That's how much I was struggling. I couldn't play FIFA online because when I misplaced a pass, I thought it was my fault. That's how ill I was. And that was due to a loved one passing away. I had depression, bereavement. I had 16 weeks of counseling. So trust me when I say this, I can relate to it. And if there's anybody that's watching this, if there's anybody that follows me on Twitter, if there's anyone in the group chat that I'm in with all the other lads, just reach out. If you want to talk to someone, just reach out to me. Like, I'm not going to judge you. I'll help you as much as I possibly can, and that goes to literally anybody that's out there watching this, because this is a silent killer, and there's so many people out there, and I see it every single day on social media. People reaching out on social media to try and sort of get a little bit of feedback from other people, and it's fantastic. Keep doing it. If you're helping somebody that's going through a tough time at the moment, give yourself a pat on the back, because I've been there. I've sat in front of the counsellor and spoke about my own personal issues. It's fantastic. If you're doing that and you don't struggle and you're reaching out to someone and you're helping them, I'm proud of you. So you should be proud of you. And I really mean it. I'm not going to keep going on about this, but anybody that follows me on Instagram, on Twitter, any group chats that I'm in, and I'm in a couple of them, I honestly, I cannot stress enough, like, get in touch if you just need to talk to someone. I'll message you straight back. Don't think that I'm going to ignore you and I'm just saying this for a bit of publicity. This is no publicity. This is real life. And I'm a real human being like you that's had them feelings before. I know how it feels. So as I say, if you need to get in touch, if you want to reach out, please do it. And I promise you, I'll give you as much help, guidance and advice as I possibly can from the experience I've had. So I've had family members that have had the same sort of issues that I've had there, and I've tried to help them as much as I possibly can. I've been luckily enough to recover from this, and I know how difficult it is. The recovery process is very, very difficult. And this is the first time I've ever went on a social media or stream platform to talk about this. But please, please reach out if you do need to. Even if it's just one person that this benefits, it's worth it. And I'm going to stop talking now. But as I say, that's my handle on Twitter. Absolutely no problem. And big thank you to Keane and everybody at the Weekly Armchair Podcast for getting me on here and letting me spread that message. Really appreciate that, Keane. Big up to you for that, mate. And as I say, anybody, get in touch, because we're all in this together and we're all here for each other. And I'm here for you if you need me to be. So I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. And then there's strong words, Jamie. And look, I echo absolutely everything you're saying there. Look, it is something that needs to be highlighted very much so, not only in the world, but on social media as well. And look, I echo everything Jamie says. And look, we're all in lockdown, we're on a tough time, and it is, especially coming up this time of year during Christmas as well, tough time for it. It can be one of the most lonely times of the year. So I completely absolutely echo everything Jamie's saying. It's okay not to be okay. Do reach out if you're ever in a spot of bother, because we're all here to help.
I'm an absolute open book with this mental health thing, and I'll tell you my story, tell you why I had the problems. If you need to hear that and you feel like that's going to be beneficial for you, get in contact and I'll tell you. I'm very open when it comes to this sort of thing. So I can't stress enough, if you need to reach out, just do it. Whether it's me, whether it's Keane, whether it's a loved one in your family that you've not been brave enough to talk to, let's start talking about mental health and fighting it together, because everybody's got so much potential. So let's just stick together on this and let's start pushing this and being there for people, being there for loved ones. Start checking up on people. Just like Keane said as well, you don't need to reach out to me. He's there as well. Our DMs are always open. If you need to talk, get in contact. It doesn't have to be me. It can be your mum, your brother, your cousin. If you feel like that's going to be beneficial, start talking about it, because it's a real big problem in society nowadays, and this year's been a really difficult one for a lot of different people. So the help's there, man. Trust me, I was to it and I didn't accept that I had a problem. That was half my issue, because I tried to be the big tough man, and you know what, there isn't any big tough man. I've got a heart and a brain and 2 arms and 2 legs like you have, and if you need help, I'm here for you, or Keane's here for you, or anybody's here for you. You do have the help. I cannot stress that enough. And if you do want to talk to me and this message has been strong to you, that's my handle. Get in contact with me. No problem at all. I'll talk to you all night if you want. I'll give you my phone number if you want to talk to me physically. No problem.
No problem. Again, look, I do echo everything Jamie says in that regard. And just finally, obviously, look, we are 1 subscriber off our mark that we need for Christmas, and we did set the goal for 150 for Christmas. We're currently on 149. do smash that subscribe button. We will be back next week. And as always, I do thank everybody for tuning into this channel because, again, I appreciate every single last one of you in that regard. So again, let's hope Manchester United go and get them 3 points the weekend, and we can have a more positive Devil's Advocate show next week, and hopefully we're talking about
Definitely.
and a good performance for Manchester United in that regard. So thanks very much everyone for tuning in. It's been a great show tonight, and again, look, I'll see you next week.